Electro Equipments Private Limited are manufacturers and suppliers of pressure vessels. So, and we are an ASME USTAM company. So we are completely focused on welding. Our jobs are completely focused on high quality welding. Welding can be of two aspects. One is structural welding and another is pressurized welding. We at Delpro deal in pressurized welding, and structural welding is a completely different aspect. So aspects of welding. Welding basically is a fabrication or a structural process that joins metals, and that can be classified into this many amounts of justices. This can be the fundamentals of welding that we can talk about. All the complete welding process can be justified by these points. You need to have a welding definition and grouping. What kind of welding you want to do? There are different kinds of power sources in welding. Either you do welding by electrodes, or you do welding by laser, you do welding by electron beams, frictions, ultrasounds. There are various amount of power sources. There are different kind of welding processes involved in all the weldings. There are different processes such as SMAW, GTAW, GMAW, and various. Soldering is another kind of welding process. There are two. Welding is defined by its base metals. What base metals are you using for the welding? And as per that, welding is defined. As per that, you have to do the welding. All the filler wires, all the consumables that are used in welding, all are defined by the base metals. What base metal?
Yes, sir. Sorry to disturb. Are you presenting your screen?
Yeah, I'm presenting the screen. You're not able to see the screen?
Yes.
You're not able to see the screen?
Sir, we can. Please go ahead, sir.
Because Google Meet, I'll share the screen. If I change my slideshows, it will take around 5-6 seconds to change at your end.
No, sir. Go ahead, sir.
Okay.
See your screen.
Yeah.
PPT is there.
Oh. Welding consumables are different or of different type. These consumables change as per the processes of welding that we change. We'll see further in the slideshow what are the processes, what are the welding consumables. In major of the industries, welding productivity is very important. So this productivity of welding is dependent upon what metallurgy you are using for the welding, what methodology you are using for welding. After the welding is completed, there is post-weld heat treatment for all the weldings. These post-weld heat treatments are carried out on what materials you are using for welding. For instance, if you are using a carbon steel material, post-weld heat treatment is very necessary for this, because this carbon steel tends to harden after heating. And for instance, if you take stainless steel material is a low carbon material. So stainless steel doesn't require any kind of post-weld heat treatments normally. This is just a general example to clarify what post-weld heat treatment is. Qualifications and codes. All of you know that every possible thing that we do has some kind of standards and codes mentioned in it. So these standards and codes are also applicable for welding. Welding is a vast process. So ASME section 8 has given all kinds of qualifications and codes to understand the welding, the processes, how to do the welding, where to do the welding, and what are the quality requirements of welding. You have to see all those requirements and then apply your knowledge to use the welding. Next is the welding defects. Welding defects, everything that we do, basically welding in India and all over the world, 90-70% operations are done manually. So all these defects are there. So to counter that defects, there are non-destructive testings and destructive testings for welding. So I'll basically give you a brief review of what all these processes are and how these processes are in place in the industry today. What is a welding basically? You can read it on your screen, the basic definition of welding. Welding is basically the fabrication or a structural process that joint materials, usually metals, by using high heat to melt the parts together and allowing them to cool so that they fuse. So basically it's a heat treatment kind of procedure where you will give some heat, melt the material and allow it to cool. If you understand, there is a candle. If you light a candle, you allow the wax to melt and then put that wax on a table and then stick the candle. And when it cools down, the candle automatically sticks to the table. So in a simpler way, candle can be example of welding. Welding is the same process where we use metals to melt. Then we use then we use an additional material that we call is a weld pool, and that weld pool is used to connect two welds, two joints of a base metal. Normally, pressure is not used to do the weld. Basically, different kinds of gases are used, and different kind of energy sources are used to do the welding, such as electric arc, laser, beam, electron beam, friction, and all. And there are many methods. We can also do underwater welding. We can do vacuum welding. There are various amounts of processes where we can use welding. These are some welding processes and groupings that we do. All these welding processes are classified differently and that are used for different applications based on your metal that you're using. For instance, arc welding. Arc welding can be used for high-end materials such as carbon steel, stainless steel. Soldering basically, if you know, we can use solderings for ICs, which we see in our electronic objects such as TVs, fridges. There are small ICs. So soldering is that metal. Basically, soldering, you don't use any foreign materials to attach the welding. So these are all different kinds of welding currently used in the industry. Arc welding. Basically, we'll focus today on arc welding because arc welding is widely used in industry and fabrication. And all over the world, arc welding is the most justified process for all kind of metal joinings that we do today. There are different types of arc welding, and the qualities and the limitations of arc welding depend upon what product you are supplying. If you are using a carbon steel beam, I-beam, C-beam, I-beam, C-beam, T-beam, such kind of things, we can use an FCAW, SMAW or SAW procedure. Whereas for smaller thicknesses of metals such as plates, sheets, we can use GTAW, CAW and SW, GMAW welding machine. So all these processes are dependent upon all the factors that I told you in the fundamentals of welding. What is the welding productivity? How many defects this welding procedure will have? How many defects how many defects it will carry? How much time it will take? The skill of your welder, amount of consumables required for welding. All these processes are combinedly selected, knowing your application, knowing your metal, what metallurgy you're using in that. This is a simple schematic diagram of a manual metal arc welding. If you see, there is a power supply, there is an electrode. This is a power supply. This is an electrode wire. This is an electrode wire, and this is an electrode holder. This is a welder. You can notice the position at which he is welding. So these positions also change. What positions you are using also changes the process of welding. This is the earthing wire that is given to the base metal that you are using, so that current can be generated in that base metal. And this is the weld pool that needs to be created on every base metal to do the welding. This is a weld pool. Basically, in engineering languages, we call it as weld groove. There are different types of grooves. I'll show you in my further slides. Now, this is an SMAW procedure, shield metal arc welding. So what are its limitations and advantages? Basically, maximum flexibility. In any position, this welding can be done. It can weld many metals. It has a vast variety of welding capacity. Many types of metallurgical metals it can weld. From carbon steel to alloy steel, all weldings can be done. It can be used for most of the maximum thicknesses because the deposition of the welding is very high in this process. And it has minimum investment. it has also cleaning, but the basic disadvantage that this particular process is that it is quite time taking, and also it has got a lot of defects. There will be break in welding, there will be cleaning has to be done after welding, and it is quite time consuming. Basically the basic process is simpler, but the after process remedies are quite high. So this kind of weldings are used for structural weldings, which you saw in common days. You can see grills, gates, structures that you see in your day-to-day life. SMAW is used in those kind of weldings. You can see these machines if you have noticed any grills or doors in your house, steel doors that you use. SMAW is used over there. What is a selection of electrode? Basically, this is an electrode. If you see, this is an electrode. So there are a lot of processes to select this electrode. What kind of size you are using for the electrode, that is important for the deposition. What kind of thicknesses you have. Base metals, if you have a carbon steel, ASME section 8 has given different kind of filler wires and different kind of material grades to use the filler wire for that particular base metal. For instance, if you are using an SS316L plate, which is an low corrosion allowance plate, you will have to have ER317 filler wire to use that, so that the carbon content will not increase as per the base metal. So different kind of filler wires have been allocated, or different kind of electrodes are used to justify to use these things to use in the welding process. There is always an electrode covering. This covering is used to get the quality of an weld metal. Proper weld metal needs to be done. Proper covering needs to be done, so that it will give a proper shielding to the weld pool. I shown you the pool in the previous slides. Elimination of weld porosity, cracking. These are all the defects that you are seeing on your screen. So that if you give proper covering to the electrodes, this kind of defects can be minimized. I'm not saying that it can be eradicated, it can be minimized. Because this is a very fast process and low cost process. So many kind of defects can happen in SMAW. What is the function of an electrode covering? Penetration control, high rate of metal deposition, manipulation to control slag, so that all these defects can be avoided. There is a proper way of storing these electrodes. You cannot keep it anywhere in your company. There has to be a baking oven for this particular amount of electrodes, so that they are completely safe. It doesn't catch any moisture. There is no deterioration or aging. And rusting of electrodes means the electrode cannot be used. And rusted electrode is of no use. So you have to take care that these electrodes don't rust. They have to be properly mechanically handled. Moisture cannot be there. So basically in industries nowadays, there are baking ovens for this, where you keep these electrodes for at a temperature of around 25 to 30 degrees Celsius, so that they are at a constant temperature and they are not exposed to any kind of humidity in the air or any kind of dryness in the air. So deterioration or rusting doesn't cause. So there are baking ovens for this kind of electrodes. These are practiced generally in major industrial applications, major industries. L&T practices oven. There are many technologies now in oven. There are what you can say, ovens which can be movable. Normally in earlier days, oven used to be kept in one place, so material handling used to be a lot tedious. So now there are portable ovens also available in the market. These are the different kind of welding positions that you do. All these welding positions can be done. There are different process qualifications for all these welding positions. You can do welding from 1F position, 1G position, 3F position, 4F positions. Basically, these qualifications are done on the degree your hand bends. As a welder, at what degree you are placing your hand while welding the base metal. So all these positions are as per your hand position in which degree your hand is. 1G, 2G, 5G, 6G. Basically 5G and 6G are done at 60 degrees, which is the most tedious and the most hardest way of doing a welding. 1G is done at 90 degrees where your hand is at rest. These are the two basic differences. It is completely at 90 degrees, and 6G is at 45 to 60 degrees where your hand is completely in air and you have to keep your hand steady to do the welding. So these are the positions. So as per these positions, you can also select the materials have to be selected as per what positions you are doing, how much amount of filler wire is going to be used in that material, how much amount of deposition you require. So as per that, these positions are required. Materials with high deposition rate shall be used with low, for instance, carbon steel. Carbon steel has a very high deposition rate because it melts quickly. So you need to use 1G or 2G preferably for carbon steels. For 6G, you can use high alloy steel where deposition is less and the melting, the rate of melting of a material is very less. So that 6G can be used. So this all positions are defined as per what material you are melting and what and where the welding is taking place. In all site conditions, if you can go for erection of sites, these are all structural parts. There 1F, 2F, 3F welding is used. These are all structural skills. So as for there, you don't require any extra precautions to be taken. So these are the types of welding position. Commonly used materials in boilers and their maximum working temperature. So as I said, any metal that needs to be melted has a certain amount of maximum temperature that will keep the metal steady, that will not harden the material more. So I have given some kind of materials which will be more, which there have a temperature range for things. For example, carbon steel. Carbon steel, you cannot go beyond 250 degrees to 300 degrees in carbon steel. Otherwise, there will be a lot of hardening in the base metal, which will make the base metal crack and which will be not used for any processes. If you can go to molybdenum steel, you can see the temperature is increased because it has got low carbon and the hardening, the ductility is also higher for this kind of metals. So as per what metal you are using, the maximum temperatures differ. So you need to set your processes for this and then use the welding as per that. This is another different type of welding. This is a very gas shielded tungsten arc welding. This is a very precision kind of welding where you will get very less defects. If you can see now what previous picture, there is a gas supply for this particular welding. This gas supply makes sure that there is no porosity or any defects in the welding. Basically, gas supplies helps to have a proper fusion bonding of the weld in the weld pool, and the shielding gas always is useful to remove trapped airs in the welding. So this is a more profile and a precision procedure to use in welding. Basically, this kind of welding is used in pressure vessels, high pressure vessels in oil and gas industries and refineries. You can see big tanks and boilers. Boilers, we use this kind of welding. As I told you, it's a high allows quality weld, little cleaning, no spatter, low productivity, high initial cost. It's a very slow welding process. It is time consuming. So, and the initial cost is also very high. It can weld a diameter of around 25 mm and a plate of thickness of around 1.5 mm. So the precision that you can have from this welding is very high. This is another welding, submerged arc welding. This is an advanced technical automated welding procedure where you can see there is a manipulator over here and there is a guide trail and there is a proper uniform deposition of weld over here and there is an electron wire reel over here. So this particular process is an automated process where you'll just have to program the welding position, welding length and the depth of the welding, and as per that this manipulator will move and it will keep the deposition going. It's a very fast process. It increases your productivity a lot and labor cost is very less for this. The electrodes used in this, there is no wastage of electrodes in this particular process. it's a smooth, uniform finished process. But the major disadvantage is that welding positions that you use in this welding. Normally, SAW is used for only 90 degrees process. You cannot do a 6G welding from an SAW procedure. You'll have to keep it at 90 degrees, and the deposition of welding should be straight. But it's an automated process, and the time taken is very less. So nowadays in industries, for all higher thickness SAW is used, and it's quite successful. Normally, some kind of limitations can be adjusted. This is a fast-growing welding process which will be developed in coming years. This is another gas shielded metal arc welding. This is a fast process where you use an automatic wire reel. Over here, I've shown you a man is giving an electrode to the weld pool. Over here, it's an automated process. So wire reel is automatically giving the welding filler to the base metal, so that the time taken is less and manual interference in the weld is very less. It's a tubular wire, and the same gas supply is over here, power supply is over here, earthing is given. The process is same, only the wire reel, the electrode that is being given to the weld metal is automated, so that the time taken and the manual interference is less in this. Again, same, different kind of welding, different kind of problems and advantages. Another high utilization, it is completely automated. A less skilled welder can also do this process. Basically, you welding skills, a small half semi-skilled welder can also do this process efficiently. So the labor cost decreases in this process, and plus material consumption and melting is also proper of all the metals because it is an automated process. This is another flux cored arc welding. This is not completely developed yet in industrial areas like pressure vessels fabrications, metal fabrications, but it is on a developing stage. Basically, this process is developing so that SMAW can be a second option for SMAW. Basically, aesthetically, this weldings look good instead of an SMAW weld. Aesthetically, FCAW looks good. There are three types of welding. Basically, welding, as I told you, it's a melting of metals so that it can be properly done. So before you start welding, you have to preheat the base metal. Preheating is an application so that differential temperatures occurs between heat source and coal base. This causes differential thermal expansion and contraction, high stresses in hardened area, so that we can use it properly and you can get a suitable amount of heated metal to give an additional base metal to the particular place. Preheating is always necessary for all the metals, for all the thicknesses. If you do preheating, your welded metal will be always good and its life will always increase. So preheating is a major operation for welding, so that you start the thermal expansion of the base metal. Basically, this is the process where thermal expansion starts, and so that we can avoid many defects that leads to welding. Now, after doing the preheat, you have to do an interpass temperature. When you first start the welding, there is a complete the process is called as root run. Root run is that process where you have to first basically melt the base metal and join it. This is an interpass. Then basically this interpass temperature is the highest. If you are using a carbon steel, the interpass temperature now currently used is around 220 to 220 degrees Celsius, so that the base metal melts completely, joins, and then we have to cool it so that it forms a fusion. So this is the first round or the first pass of the weld on the complete base metal, so that it melts, cools, and a fusion is formed. Post welding is a so after that we have to do post heat treatment. As I told you, carbon steel requires post weld heat treatment. Not many do post weld heat treatment, but post weld heat treatment is very necessary to avoid HSZ. HSZ is what heat affected zones around the welding. Basically, when you do thermal expansion, there is a lot of heat affected zone around around where you have done the welding. It's basically 10-15 mm from your welding. So heat treatment is done for as a post heat treatment for these things. Low diffusivity, it basically brings low diffusivity to the melt, which is on larger HZ zones, so that as your diffusivity decreases, the weld quality also increases. This is a tabular form of what preheat and interpass temperatures we use for materials. If you can see, interpass temperature is high, as I told you, it is highest. And these temperatures differ as per what thickness you are melding. If it's less than 25 mm, your preheat is 45, interpass is 250. 25 is less than the thickness, less than, as per the thicknesses increases, your preheat and interpass temperatures also increase. So as you increase the preheat, if you increase, the interpass will remain the same, because you cannot go beyond a temperature for a particular metal. You'll have to keep the highest temperature, as I've told earlier, to what the metal offers you. If you can see austenitic stainless steels, you will not require much under interpass, because it's already a ductile material. It melts quickly. It has got low carbon, and also it will not damage a lot. The heating of welding is not going to damage the metal a lot, because it's already a low carbon steel weld. Post weld heat treatment, stress relieving and normalizing. Normally, post weld heat treatment we always do, so that the weld quality increases and there is a longevity. The life of the weld is good. It has got a good life. Same points. To improve dimensional stability during machining, to have a service life of weldment, job is heated above critical temperature and parts फिर उसको normalize किया जाता है. To reduce reducible stresses and inherent in welding. So basically, this is a process which increases the life of your weld metal. If you don't do it, then there will be lots of defects in your weld, and it can damage the process for which that particular material is being used. As I told you, all welding depends upon its welding productivity. So you have to select the welding process by keeping all these parameters into consideration. What process you are using, what position the welding is going to use, arcing efficiency, deposition rate, how much amount of rework you have to do after welding, because there are lots of defects in welding. After welding, if you find any defects, you have to cut the weld again and then redo it. So there are a lot of rework in welding. Welding economy. So all these processes you have to select, keeping all these productivity processes in mind. You have to select the metal, you have to select the process, and then do the welding. You cannot just randomly go and start welding, because welding productivity is a big issue in industry nowadays, because welding is a very time-taking activity, and it's related to quality. If the quality decreases in welding, then welding can be it can damage the complete process. And there are examples where the complete site has broken up. There are 2 years back in a BHEL refinery, because of poor quality welding, there was a blast in NPCI. So this is a big issue. So welding is a big process. So you need to consider all these points before selecting the process, metal, and then concentrating on the weld productivity. These are the deposition rates, at what rate the metal melts. These are all in mm and kg per hour. These are just numerical figures. It can vary. This is done by this we have carried out by how amount of process we have done. So these are the standard rates and the deposition rates. After every welding, there is testing, a quality testing of all the welds. If you look, this welding, there are different inspection. Visual inspection is done by only aesthetically looking at the welding. Are you able to look any defects, cracks, anything like that? It's just a visual inspection. You don't do anything in that. Liquid penetrant. It's a test where you have to use You have to use dies to see where there are cracks, diffusions, irregularities in the welding. Magnetic particle testing is another testing where you can see any cracks, surface defects are there in the welding. It has got one probe. You have to just keep that probe on the welding so that you can see the defects. Radiography is an X-ray film of a weld. When you go to an orthopedic surgeon, he takes an X-ray of your bones. Same radiography is an X-ray of the weld, where you can see the defects of the weld in that. If you have any porosity, if you have any cracks, if you have any if the welding is not deposited properly, so you can radiography. Radiography is very widely used in the industry nowadays, but radiography is a harmful process because X-rays use sodium bromide to prepare the X-rays. So sodium bromide is a very harmful process. So X-rays will be eradicated in a few days. Ultrasonic will be a substitute for radiography in the coming future. So ultrasonic testing is same, where you can see the X-ray, but you don't use X-rays for it. You use a probe for that, and that probe is used to see the weld effects. Any kind of harmful chemicals and development is not done in this ultrasonic testing, and it's also very less time consuming. Immediately you get the results. This is the ultrasonic testing. Pulse echo equipments, you might have studied some kind of pulse echo equipments in your syllabus now. These are types of probes, calibration box, couplants, most welding discontinuity, slacks, porosity you can see. Portable, sensitive, and it requires a skilled operator. This is a developing process, but it is on a rapid stage, so it will start developing now. Liquid penetrant testing. Destructive testing. Normally, when you have to set the processes of welding, so you use destructive testing. Destructive testing is you have to damage the complete weld metal that you have welded, and you have to check chemical analysis, mechanical analysis, bend testing, impact testing, hardness testing of these metals. Basically, when you do a welding, chemical testing has to be done so that the weld metal is same as the base metal to verify as per code requirements. Mechanical testing is that transverse test to determine where fracture has occurred. This all mechanical testing happens on universal testing machine. You might have done this course in strength of materials. Bend testing also is done on universal testing machine. Impact testing, ISOT, Charpy. These are done to check the impact toughness of the weld so that it can be used in higher precision, higher amount of thickness, higher amount of pressure materials. Hardness testing, Brinell hardness, Rockwell hardness, Wicker hardness. It depends upon the processes which hardness you have to select. Commonly, these three hardnesses are used, and these three hardnesses you might be aware by now. These three hardnesses are used to improve. So this check the hardness. Basically, hardness is a major criteria in welding because welding you have to heat, and after that the base metal gets hardened. So you have to check it with this kind of. You have to check with hardness. Basically, destructive testing is done to check the parameters of welding that you have done. Once these parameters are set, you have to do. Once these parameters are set, we can carry on the welding on a mass production. So these parameters are done by, there is a testing requirement such as welder procedure specifications, which is called as WPS, and procedure qualification record, which is called as PQR. So these parameters have to be set in WPS PQR, and after that, once these parameters are set, you can do mass production of welding so that there are less amount of defects, and you can be rest assured of your quality of your weld. These are the meteorographic examinations, microscopic and macroscopic examinations on HAZ zone, which HAZ zones are the heat affected zones as 10-15 mm on the sides of the weld joints. These are also important because these sides of the weld also get heated, and there can be hardening because of this. So you need to do tests on that particular thing also, so that the soundness of the metal is intact. I'm done with my presentations. If you have any questions, you can raise. Hello?
Hello.
Can you see the chat?
Wait a minute. Yes.
Yeah. So the question, should I read the question?
There is, I can see only one question.
Yeah.
According Varat Gatake, according
Yeah.
to design structure and weight consideration, we have selected 1 mm commercial aluminum for component. A lot of defects as well as material wastage takes place during welding. What can be best done to avoid this at student level and comparatively less skilled welder? Uh, Basically, for 1 mm Varat, don't use the filler metal. You are using a tungsten inert gas welding. So my suggestion would be that don't give the filler to the weld metal. Try and fuse it by only heating, allow it to cool, then the weld metal will have a good joint. Basically, wastage and its defects are because you are giving it a lot of filler, additional material to that. Don't give additional material in that particular process. Just melt it and fix it so that you will have a better result for that. Praful Bhaktani. What protocols and precautions are taken? Basically, petrol ships welding is done. Welding can be done on petrol ships in vacuums. Basically, vacuum is such kind of a process where you don't require any electricity, and there is a lot of the heat deposited on the on sites is less. Basically, in petrols where there are hazardous and high inflammatory objects, welding is not carried out because of the precautionary regions. The welding is normally done downstairs where inflammatory products are not involved in that. But if there are inflammatory products and you have to do welding, it can be done in a vacuum so that you don't require to do heat depositions on that.
Yes, sir. There is a question from one student.
There is one question. No?
Yeah. Marine welding.
Marine welding. Okay, marine welding. Yes. Basically, in marine welding, it's completely underwater. So the basic principle of marine welding is that I'm not completely knowledgeable of marine welding, but whatever marine welding is done, it is done with creating a fire or an inferno deep inside the weld. The fire is created inside so that you have to speed up the cutting by creating a fire. It's a very speedy process. You cannot keep on depositing the weld as per your time. इतना पास आएगा तो मैं डिपॉजिट करूंगा ऐसे. It's a very speedy process. You need to cut and start welding. Because it's a very risky process. There are a lot of angles involved in that. Dipanshu Horume. Car frames. Normally, car frames are sheet metals. So in sheet metals, they use SMAW and GTAW. Car frames, you can use GMAW also. GMAW is a very good process, and it can be useful in it can be useful to reduce the cost. Basically, car frames you can do for there are many events in engineering, so you can use the GMAW process for car frames. I think Prithviraj, does your company do fixturing required before welding? At our level, we definitely do fixturing for welding because we have to define the position of the welds. But there are different fixturing manipulators available in the market which you can ready-madely get. These manipulators are used to put your objects, put your material on that, and that manipulators can be used for welding. Basically, there are circular manipulators, holders, and such kind of things for fixturing of before welding. Fixturing has to be done for any welding because the job shouldn't move. What skills students should develop? Basically, you should go in the industry with an open mind. You are second year students currently. Try and gain how much you can from your engineering life. Don't at all think that engineering, there are no skills required. Whatever you learn in engineering is not used in the industry. Each and everything that you are learning today is used in the industry, but you need to inculcate what you are learning and you need to implement in the industry what you have learned. Just don't keep a mind that ये मैं पढ़ रहा हूँ आगे जाके क्या काम में आएगा. Everything is useful. Everything. In our industry, we use everything from strength of materials to heat transfer to machine design to the total theory of machines. We use everything in our industry. So keep an open mind while you are studying, so that in future when you start your own industry or you go for some job, you can implement it. Mechanical industry is such that if you learn, you have vast amount of field to implement everything. So keep an open mind and keep on learning. Don't stop. Mechanical engineering can be useful in any field. Basically, we have safety standards. These are Praful Bhaktani. What do you have? Basically, this company, what we do, there are three major kind of accidental norms in our company. What level of accident he has occurred because he is not using protective equipments for welding. Basically, there are two equipments before a welder cannot weld. That is a weld shield for his face and a glove. If he is not using a glove, there is a lot of heat deposition, so he'll have to use a glove. He'll not be able to hold the electrode. Secondly, there is a lot of light and heating, so he needs to use a weld shield so that he can properly see the weld. So these two basic requirements are at most necessary. Without welding cannot be done. Thirdly is that you need to be properly dressed. If the welder is not properly dressed, if he is not wearing an apron, he'll have to sit out of the company for 1 hour. That's what we do. Because when you this is what we do in our company. If a welder is not wearing an apron, if he is not wearing the shoes, he is not able to allow to enter the company. And secondly, third thing is that he needs to maintain his machine properly. Daily maintenance of his machine is very necessary. So if he's not doing the welding machine maintenance, his half-day salary is cut. These are very strict measures in our company for welding regarding salary, but we do this so that there is a amount of responsibility building the welders. And since it's a low educated people are working in welding stream, so we need to be a bit strict, and violations of safety regulations are not entertained. Craters, yes, craters and cracks. Basically, weld deposition can be done on 3 or 4 ways. So once you deposit the weld, the last deposition of weld shall be done at a very low temperature. The temperature of your filler wire and the current of your welding machine should be very less. So if if your first deposition you have done at around 150 ampere, you'll have to go to around 100 ampere to do the last deposition of weld to avoid cracks or craters on the weld. Prithviraj Shinde, does the customer convey the deformation tolerances for his product in what format? Okay, deformation tolerances are over given in MMs, and it depends upon basically you don't have to basically deformation is not acceptable in any kind of weldings. If there is a deformation that weld metal is damaged, you need to cut that metal and redo it again. So tolerances cannot be defined as such, because any deformation is of high risk and it cannot be used because it completely changes the properties of the weld metal. And basic idea of welding is that there shouldn't be any deformation. So we take those precautions, and the customer as such doesn't convey, because there are standards for welding and deformation and all the standards. For more guidelines you can use ASME section 9. If you Google it, you will find ASME section 9 norms for tolerances of welding, what processes and what formats are there. Welding stimulation help in real life, and we don't have skilled welders in the welding sector, so how can we use it? Welding stimulation is used on a wider range today. Japanese technologies, and there are many Indian companies who are automizing the welding. But in India, skilled labor is not an issue currently as of 2020. But automation is done on a very large scale. There are optical automation weldings which are used. There are orbital automation weldings which are used to weld circular jobs. But basically, what we have tried at our end at automation, we haven't got proper success in automation. We are definitely working on welding stimulation automation, but there are a lot of errors. Time taken is more, deposition is less. There are a lot of technical parameters in automation, but they have successfully done automation for fillet weld joints, where in positions 1F, 2F, 3F, successful automation has been done. But in orbital welding, this welding stimulation is yet to be done. Inconel weld, you can use GTAW, because Inconel is a very low carbon content material. So you can use GTAW for Inconel. The welding rod for Inconel will be 625. Inconel 625.
Okay, Konda sir. Hello.
Yes, ma'am.
Konda sir, are you there? So I'll hand over to you. So please give vote of thanks. So we'll conclude session.
Thank you, Shreyas sir, for giving such a wonderful presentation and for answering all the questions which are asked by the students. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Hope it helped to improve your knowledge. And thanks for giving me this opportunity to guide the students of DY Patil.
Okay.
So, officially declared this end of the session, right?
Okay.
Okay, sir.
Okay, instruction for students, all students, please complete all the activities daily. So yesterday only 5 to 6 students have completed activity. So all of you complete the activities and submit it on Moodle. For today's activity, we will share a link after some time. Okay, within 1 hour. Okay, I'll conclude. That session is over. Thank you so much, all of you.